first particular pattern, I've gone for a Roman Power Silk. See it? A 10-0. Olive colour. This is really good stuff. One big advantage, and the big thing for me with it is, unlike GSP, when you pull against the hook, the GSP tends to cut into its own spool, but it's been spooled. And after, if you wanted to actually pull something really tight, once this singular thread is pulled into the spool, it starts to fray and starts to break apart. And because it's a multi-strand silk, then should we call it, once you snap the one, that catches up on the next and the next, and you keep snapping the single fibres as you go in, and within 3 or 4 flies, the spool is not good. Yeah. With the Roman that never happens. It just doesn't pull into the spool at all. It's got a really tight bind on or a good winding, then should we call it. So as I said, Roman Power Silk, just caught on. This time I'm going to do a Damsel. I know it's not everyone's favourite fly, and they are sometimes controversial patterns, I know. But they do work, and last season in Grapham I was fishing with I could say an ex-teammate now, Gary Askins, and it was actually his idea to put a Damsel pattern on. He had a bit of a theory in it, but I just thought it was another nymph pattern as such. But it did actually catch me a really substantial trout from the top end of Grapham. So I'm just going to catch in some fur. Rather than marrow, I prefer to use the fur. It's a finer fibre, then, should we say. It's got the same amount of movement in smaller doses. If you've caught too much in, and you think you've got too much, you can always take it out before you get to the back end of the fly. You're not going to notice the bulk. Not only that, with a Damsel, if you take it out as you're going down, you're going to get a taper in your body anyway.
Is that Arctic Fox?
No, this is fur rabbit pelt. Just an olive dyed rabbit pelt. I didn't want too much of the guard sorry to interrupt. I didn't want too much of the guard on this. The guard seemed to be green, like a bright green. So I've gone for the actually lower, softer fur, which is a darker olive in colour, over the green tip. I don't know if you can see it. It actually looks really quite green rather than olive. So I'm going to wind down. Again, Damsel is a bit of a personal sort of preference in fly. You can attach bright ribs or darker ribs. I tend to go with a darker rib personally, to try and keep it natural. On this particular pattern, I'm going to use an olive wire. Here we go. It's an olive wire. It does look bright there, but when you see it over the top of the rabbit that I'm going to use, it doesn't stand out as much. It does keep the pattern quite true to being a nymph rather than a small lure, as damsels can be mistaken for. Again, just catching the wire in. Back to my rabbit. I'm going to take a pinch of the rabbit fur. Like I said, you can use pre-mix, you can change the colour of the body, but I do, again, personally, tend to try and keep it with the tail, the colour of the tail. So I've dubbed the fur to a taper. I don't know if you can see that there. I've actually dubbed the fur to a taper in the dubbing itself. It saves me doing any messing or playing about as I'm coming towards the head of the fly. When I've ribbed it up, I think it's pretty clear that the ribbing has made a really nice distinct and defined definition in the body itself. Again, as it comes around, you'll find that there's a good segmentation in the body. I'm going to use my trusty dubbing brush, and just down the sides rather than the whole fly itself. I'm just going to come down the sides to create a breather effect down the sides of the damsel's body.
I've never seen one.
In this particular part then, I'm going to use a flash thorax cover. Again, I say a natural colour, but it's in keeping with the damsel itself. It's a back that you'd use with a sort of check nymph or a dark check nymph back. It's a flat braid. So I'm going to take a small section of flat braid, cut it off. What you'll tend to find is if you tend to play too much with it here in your hands now, you'll fray the end and it'll become a right nightmare to tie in. So as soon as you cut it, try and get it bound in nice and tight. And I'm going to tie back onto the dubbing slightly when I've dubbed. So I've given myself a head section, a thorax cover. The dubbing for the thorax, I'm going to go for a brown or a darker colour to the actual body itself. The kind of dubbings that I tend to use are squirrels, something a bit more spiky that will give me a leg effect. This particular part then I'm going to use a couple of different colours in it. This is a different colour opossums. These are natural opossums. They tend to be a spiky fibre. So I'm just taking a little pinch or so. Just going to give it a quick mix through. Pardon me. Again, dubbing this actual material quite loosely. I don't want it too tightly bound to the silk, because I'm going to be brushing this to create an underthorax, a leg effect. So if I dub it too tight, I'm going to have a problem brushing it out quickly. I say quickly as in not speed wise, but I only want to brush it once or twice. If I keep brushing it, I'm going to have the effect that I've brushed the body the same time rather than just the underside of the thorax. Cut off the excess from the thorax cover. And just finish it off. There we go. So as I said, there's the underside of the thorax. I'm just gently going to go back and forth, trying to keep off the body if possible. I only want to brush the thorax section and get the legs. I've got the breathers down the side, but I've gone along the side of the body. So I'm just trying to keep him within the thorax. And trim. There we go. So there's a damsel, a quite natural looking damsel. It's a nymphine pattern rather than a lure as a damsel might be portrayed.